All right. Hey, you guys, thanks for being patient. I got a little double book there, but that's okay. I hope you guys are doing well. Stay warm. Actually, I don't have to say that. Stay cool. Stay humidified. In Carmel by the sea, it's about, I don't know, 0% humidity and, low 60s. So we've got natural air conditioning here. It's pretty amazing. Probably that's why Ansel Adams liked it so much and Edward Weston. But hey, you guys, good to see you from all over the place. Jared, good to have you back with us as always. And
Yeah, it's good to be back. I missed you guys last time.
well, I was saying to the other Jared, but both of you
Oh,
Jareds,
the other Jared.
the dual
There's too many
Jareds.
Jareds. Nah, you can't have too many Jareds.
Nah, I can't have too many. And Kevin from sunny Michigan and Terry in Dallas. Hey, right on. You've got a 15 millimeter wide angle on your storm there, Jared. That's pretty
Oh,
cool.
yeah. Yeah, we were talking about incidents and stuff happening
Yeah,
uh with cameras.
stuff is happening. Okay, well, listen, let's go ahead and Jared and I are going to share the news with you. Let me get a screen going. Jared, what's the top of the news story this morning?
All right. So, first we got this really interesting story of a photographer who has definitely been using his time.
Oops, hang on. I lost your audio there.
So,
There we
uh
go. Okay, we're back.
we're
No?
back. All right.
Yeah, okay.
And so here's an image you can see here of what he did. So he had this window in his door,
That's
and
really
then
wild.
he set up the lens and all this. It's pretty amazing what he's done.
You really, this is only during COVID would anybody have this kind of time on their hands to set up a camera on their door.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's not just any
Uh,
camera, it's a large format. Is it 8 by 10? How big is this dang thing?
I'm not sure
It's a big
because I'm
camera.
not as
I'm guessing it's
yeah.
a, yeah.
Uh, I mean he's using a 300 millimeter lens.
That would,
I
okay.
know the photo paper he was using was ISO 3 or 6, so he had to have the lens completely open.
His
Um,
photo paper. Wow, okay. So
yeah, and
so I imagine what he did was, uh, people didn't just randomly show up. I imagine he set these guys up to come by his door, right?
yes, and then he communicated that with them with a speaker from inside his home.
That's pretty wild.
Um, so yeah, I mean, and the he's now created a series of these photos. It's called door frames. And it's just really interesting to, see this super creative approach to, photography in this time.
In the COVID era, wow, that's pretty wild. So that I get it. So this way, he doesn't have to interact with these people. He's on the other side of the door.
Exactly.
Doesn't have to wear a mask. Doesn't have to drag his camera out. So that's pretty creative in itself. Large format, you guys, is considered anything above 4 by 5. So you have 4 by 5, 5 by 7, 8 by 10. There's 11 by 14. The question that Robert had is, what large format do you think is best for a beginner? That's almost an oxymoron. I don't think large format is a beginner format because you're shooting film. Um, I would probably start with a 4 by 5. If you're getting into it for the first time because it's a lot more manageable. The bigger the sheet of film, the more expensive it's going to be per exposure, and the more work generally. And so 4 by 5, because you got to think in terms of not just shooting the image, but you're going to print it somehow, unless you're going to scan it and turn it into a digital image. But why do that? You're kind of going backwards.
Yeah.
So
This is in the bathroom where he did it.
there's his developing tray. He's developing the negative right there. Okay, well, that's pretty wild.
Yeah. So that's a fun little story to get started.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Then our
Whoa,
next
we're back
story,
to
we're going back
Dotan.
to an old friend of ours.
Our friend
Yeah.
Dotan. He's published his book. It's on Amazon, right?
Yep, it's called Nowhere to Go But Everywhere. So if
That's
you were
kind of
there
cool.
for our podcast with him, he talked about it, and it's a fascinating project.
I got to tell you guys, I really, really like his approach. He has a simple. We were doing a little research, and there's a kind of a movement called minimalist photography. But it turns out there's two definitions for that. One is keeping your equipment minimalist, like you hear us advise. Dan Milner is kind of the champion of a minimalist, and so is Dotan Saguy. I mean, he said, look, he shoots with a Leica with a 35 millimeter lens. That's it. I totally get it. That's what I shot with for years. But there's another definition of minimalist photography, which is keeping the frame and your composition minimalist. Now, this does not represent that. These are not simple compositions, but they're very powerful. Like, look at that. The kids on the bus with their shoes. Let's keep scrolling through these. And then, of course, he converts everything to a black and white using the Nik software, Silver Effects Pro, which I love. And it's interesting, since I did the show with him, I've learned a lot of new stuff. And I talked to another expert who actually advised DxO when they were developing it. He had trained with Ansel Adams. And so he brought all that Ansel Adams knowledge to the development of the software itself. Pretty cool. Because you've got, in order to convert a color digital to black and white, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. It is not just a question of pushing a button and saying, oh, yeah, turn this into a black and white. You've really got to get in there and develop it. And I really appreciate that. And that's what Dotan has done with these images. He made the point of, you really got to invest yourself in your work. You can't just fly in, take a few images and fly
Yeah.
out. Ed Kashi made the same point. Actually, every one of our, pro photographers who are creating street photography or documentary work, they make this point: get to know your subjects, get involved with them, let them feel comfortable enough to let you inside their world. And I've found that in my series that you guys may have seen, Mexico, I became an insider with these people. So they knew who I was. They saw me with my camera and they got used to me and they didn't feel threatened by it. But here is Dotan. So his book is called, say it again, Jerry.
Nowhere to Go But Everywhere, and
I
it's
love
available
it.
on Amazon. It's in the description.
Yeah.
You there on Amazon. There's only 8 copies left right now, but it says more are coming. I
Grab
think
one.
this book is a perfect example of how good Doden is at getting in there and
I
being
love that.
invisible. Because look how close he is
Yeah, he is.
to
And that's
this
with a
family.
35 millimeter lens. So he had
Yeah,
to get really close. And again, the processing, one of the key notes to processing black and white, and this is just per Ansel Adams, is you want a pure white and you want a pure black, because that really
yeah,
it gives you that dynamic range. And you look here, yeah, you can see, like at the skylight there's pure white, and then his beard is pretty black, and
yeah.
certainly under
That's
his, yeah. So you
yeah.
got
Like
that
right
dynamic
here is
range, yeah.
definitely so from here to there. That's pretty much pure black, pure white.
Yep. So you've got that dynamic range. And in the software itself, it actually allows you to see if you've got each one of those. They're called zones. So you can tap on it and see if you actually have covered all the zones. If you haven't, then you just keep tweaking it until you've got what you're looking for. I love that. Look at that. So this is the family living on this bus
Yep.
in Venice Beach. That they're looking at downtown LA there. That's a really cool photograph. It's a
Yeah, I'd
silhouette.
highly recommend if you want to know more about this, definitely go back and check out our Doten Sagai interview.
Let's put that link in
It's
there. In our
Fascinating.
yeah,
Yeah.
you guys should watch that for sure. All right, well done, Dotan. And what else is on our list? What else we got going on here? Fuji, what are they
Uh,
doing?
Fuji India has announced a month-long contest.
Okay.
They want to encourage people who have Fuji cameras. I know that there are a couple people who like Fuji. So they want people to take pictures with their cameras, and the theme of the contest is creativity during crisis. They want to
Aha.
see what are you doing during your social isolation, and how are you doing? What are you doing to help encourage and inspire other people to stay positive?
Are those just
So
Fuji users in India, or can other people enter this? Do you know?
I believe anyone can use it, but it has to be with a Fuji camera.
Okay. Well,
Um, I
that's cool.
but I also know that we have a lot of people in our audience from India.
Yeah.
So hey, check that out. You should enter that. It
Jump in there.
started August 19th, and it's going for a month, so it ends September 19th. So you've got what, like 2 weeks left,
Yeah. Yeah, about two
approximately.
weeks. So when you
Yeah, a
guys
little.
do enter, will you please also let us know on our AYP Club Facebook page? I'd love to see your photo that you're entering. I'd like to hear your progress. And if you win, wow, that'll be awesome. We'll feature you on the show ourselves. How's that?
Yeah.
By the
All
way,
right.
we're going to
So
be giving away from our friends at Bay Photo. Um, did we just skip over that entirely, Jared? Did
I think
I?
we did.
Oh boy. Well,
We
let's
were in
back
such a
up
rush to
here.
get in.
Let's back up here for a second. I don't want to leave out our guys, our friends at Bay Photo Lab. You guys, listen. We love these guys. They're a sponsor for this show. You can get 20% off. These are the specials on wood products. Kind of cool. You could print stuff on wood. Look at these different things. You've got boxes and you've got wall prints and that sort of thing. 25% off on your first order. Listen, they're awesome, and they gave us a whole list of stuff to give away to you guys. We haven't started that, but we're going to put together a contest for you. So stay tuned and please order something from Bay Photo, not just for you, but for them, to support them, but really to support yourself because, prints are what it's all about. Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
We're
I'll
caught
share a
up.
quick story. As somebody, I was recently in somebody's home, social distancing still,
Yeah.
keeping away, distance, but they had so many amazing photos on the wall, and all of them were theirs. And they printed with Bay Photo. I asked
Hey,
them,
awesome.
where'd you get your prints? And they used Bay Photo. And
Good for
it's
them.
just amazing to be able to see people's work. And it really does help you pick the best of your photos because you're going to put money behind
Yep.
that. And so it's just a fantastic way to share your work with other people. And it's very impressive when they come and visit you at your home, when we can start doing that again.
I'm fully in agreement with that. Okay, what's next on the news? Google
All
Images.
right, so yeah, we've
This is
got
a
this
cool
cool
story.
new feature. So Google Images has now launched. This was a couple days ago, so it's brand new. They now have a new licensable badge. So now when people search for images, if the photo has license information that's been put on it, they can find it. So this is going to be a really cool way for people to, you know, you can put your work up there, have your credit on it, and then people can easily find where to get the image.
Okay, so
And I
I
wanted
see
to
an
show
image
this
on,
off.
if I see an image on Google Photos, for instance, and I like it and I want to use it, so I click on it and it will tell me who owns that and that I can get a license to use it if I'm using it
Yeah.
commercially. Okay.
So I'm doing sail. Here, we'll do sailboat, like what they do in their example. I thought it'd
Right.
be cool to just show it off. Then you can go to tools, usage right, commercial, and other licenses. And then you'll see here, all these photos have license information.
Very cool.
And then if you click on the license information, it gives license detail. On this one, it tells you the creator and the credit of where they got it from. And then on some of these, it also says get this image on, like, I guess this one's Depot Photos. So you click on that, it takes you right to it.
That's
And not
awesome.
only that, you can also put the license details. So then it'll take it right to so that you don't have to wonder like, but what can I license it for? So I don't know. Like, does this? I'd like to know from everybody in the community. Does this make you more interested in the idea of putting your work out on stock photo? Because
Yeah.
this seems like it's going to make it way easier for photographers to get paid. Because the more convenient you make a service, the more likely it's going to be used.
You know, and I listen, here's the thing, anything we can do to give credit to photographers is
Hmm.
really important because that preserves your intellectual property. You created it. I really don't like seeing my stuff pirated, and I do. Almost every day I get a note, a Google. I have Google alerts set up for everything on my, my books and whatnot, and I get these weird, and I can always tell they're pirated just because where they're coming from. There's some strange place, so we we really don't want that, and this is a step in the right direction for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so, by the way, before I forget, I know this is going to be like an advertisement here, but what the heck? I'm going to bring this over here, this screen. So, a while ago, I created this free course that I had some of you guys check out. And there's an ad. I don't know who this guy is exactly that's doing who's on here. I don't really recognize him. Looks vaguely familiar. Anyway, this is a good course and it's free. And I do go over like three misconceptions that people have about photography and kind of kick those out of the way. But really, what I have discovered that I do, and it's kind of taken me a while to figure this out, is what I like to do is I like to find and drill down to what really does work in photography because there's so much misinformation out there. And that's why the guests that I have on are the people who really do make it work. We're not just talking about theory, we're talking about these are practical applications. So this is posted in the AYP Club. Jared, I don't know if you have a way to grab that link and just stick that
I
in the.
think I do.
Okay, if you
I'll get
can,
that quick.
I'd love it if you guys checked out this free course. It's free. Hey, I don't have to sell you on it. It's a free course. Okay, that was just a slight advertisement, but I think you'll really enjoy it. All right, so what else have we got going on here? There it is. Okay,
Uh,
that
we
link goes
have
to that.
hmm?
That link will actually go to the course itself. Okay, good.
This link goes to the post,
Okay, goes to the post.
which will let you see the video, find out more about it. So,
Hold on, this
um,
this guy I love, Dan
yeah.
Budnik.
So Dan Budnik recently passed away, and you may not know who he is, but I'm sure that you've seen a couple of his photos.
Oh yeah, look at that one.
So he photographed the civil rights movement and Native American life. He photographed at the Hopi, I think that's how you say it, Hopi and Navajo nations.
The Hopi, yeah.
Uh, Hopi, that's it.
Look at that. He has a cover, Martin Luther King on Time magazine. Harry Belafonte. These are all like really iconic people from the
And
60s.
I found out that he had sold in 1965. He sold Life on. He pitched them doing a photograph series of a long-term photo essay, where in that photo essay he photographed both Martin Luther King Jr. and George Wallace.
Oh,
So he was
amazing.
photographing both sides.
Both sides.
Unfortunately, Life never published it because they had already dedicated several magazines to the civil rights movement at that point and
Uh-huh.
the marches, so they didn't publish it. But
I have
here's a
to
couple more
comment.
of
I want to
his.
comment on that. Is a brilliant photograph. Go back to that. What?
Oh, yeah, the
Yeah, this. I mean, they're all amazing, but go back. Hold it there. Go back to
it's
that last one.
oh,
I love the. Well, first of all, there's so much. Look at the number of people there, you guys. I mean, just phenomenal. This is the Civil Rights March that Martin Luther King. I believe this. If it's the same one, I had a
yep,
dream.
it's
I had a dream.
it's that one.
Very moving speech. If you haven't heard it, you should definitely listen to it. There. Now look at that. There's just the juxtaposition. There's Lincoln and there's that shadow. Pretty brilliant how he got that. It's this guy was a very skilled photographer. Um, that's the 20th anniversary of that march in 1983. Jared, are you
Oh,
still
there
there?
we go.
We lost you for a
I think
second.
we're back.
Okay.
Okay,
Anyway, you guys should
but yeah,
check
no,
out
his work's great.
his
Do
work.
you want to hear
It's
where his start was?
yes, please.
His start was he started as a Magnum photographer in 1957, and his first assignment was to go film atrocities in Cuba.
Wow.
And so that was how he got his start. So, he was not a stranger to intense situations.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I would definitely check his website out. It's in the description. You can look at all of his amazing photos. Just an amazing person who, helped
Build
expose
this.
everybody to what was going on.
And if you guys haven't heard this message from AYP, you haven't been listening. Listen, one of the most important things that you can do to build up your visual library and to sort of stoke your own creative fire is to look at other people's work. And it's not to copy them. You couldn't copy this guy if you tried, so don't worry about it. And that's true with almost everybody. They're in a unique situation. You're never going to be there. It was a moment in time that was unique to that. But it does show you why it captures your eye. Like, what is it about it? And you can dig in on this, like that last image, any of these. This one, there again, we have Lincoln, and we have a powerful composition because it really only shows one guy but two arms. There's just something about that. So you can look at these people's work and you're going to get inspiration for your own work. I guarantee you. I do this all the time, constantly. And you've heard Dan Milner talk about it. You've heard Bob Holmes. Joey L. goes to museums and looks at the lighting of Rembrandt. I mean, this is so important. It's stoking your creative library. So please take some time after the show, look at this work, see how he did it. I always like to ask myself, like, what would it be like to be standing right where he was in that image? What would I have seen? Would I have missed that? I mean, look at that. Because really, in this one, you have this fairly small part of the frame was Martin Luther King, but this whole other conversation going on that he's apparently not a part of. Like, doesn't that just draw you in and you question? Bob Holmes said he likes to take photos that leave you questioning things, that don't give away everything. And that definitely gives you a question mark. Like, who the heck are these guys? What are they talking about? And why is Martin Luther King Jr. not a part of that conversation? You just kind of get your whole wheels going on that. And that's really powerful use of a photograph because it tells a story, but it also leaves part of the story untold.
And it also shows how the small moments can be just as powerful as the big moments.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm sure if a lot of people might look at this photo back when it first came out and be like, oh, there's nothing particularly special about that. But in hindsight,
Oh, yeah.
this is a powerful image of a really important moment in history that at the time maybe didn't seem so important when it was happening. But in retrospect, it's easy to see how powerful this is. So, don't fall into the trap of thinking that whatever's around you isn't interesting.
That's right.
Or unimportant, because it is.
It is. Yeah. And Chris Burkhardt made this point of capture those moments. He called them in between, meaning what Jared was saying. You've got the iconic photographs of Martin Luther King standing up or whatever. This is a moment in between. And those can be not just powerful, but they can link your story together. That's something that Dan Milner talked about. You have to have those link photographs because what he was doing, he was documenting this whole experience. And there's these linking photographs that kind of tie things together. So keep that in mind when you guys are shooting documentaries, you're shooting street photography, you're shooting your own life. Look for look for those linking images that tie the story together. Look at that from composition, you guys. That just blows me away.
It's beautiful.
You've got the diagonal line of the people. You've got the pillars. That they
We've
have
got
their
this
own.
guy right up here.
The guy there. The pillars. From a mood line perspective, pillars show stability. Diagonal lines, on the other hand, show kind of a movement. There's motion there. There's something that isn't necessarily stable, and that's exactly what that photograph tells you. It's like, on one hand, we have the pillars and the stability of our country and the Constitution and all the things that we stand for. And then we have this diagonal line, which is basically people fighting for their freedom. At that point, really changing the world because they were getting what was already owed to them, essentially. And that one image tells that whole story. It's remarkable. Anyway, I'm stoked.
And you can also tell that he's taking this from a different angle because look,
yes,
here's all the other photographers.
Yeah.
But he's not up there with all the other photographers. He's down here, and he's taking this looking up so that he can get these shots of the pillars. He knew exactly what he was doing when he did this.
Yeah. That's right. Okay, yes, and Jared, you're right. The brightest zone in the monochrome are the hats, which is true. And that draws your attention there. The white, that's pretty much pure white in there. And the white shirts, and then the black, trousers. And there's, again, a dynamic range there, which is all part of this.
We could spend hours just looking at his photographs, but we got to move on.
You guys can do that, and you should.
Yes.
It's part of your education. What's next? What else we got out there?
All right. To end us off today, we've got something a little fun. Somebody made a plugin for Photoshop
that cracks me up.
That creates infinite jokes. So
why do you need jokes in Photoshop? I mean, it seems so bizarre.
Some people like to keep themselves entertained while they're working because this is definitely not for everybody, but I actually have plugged it. I've actually installed it now.
Oh, you have?
Because I wanted to see what it was like. It's funny.
Can you tell? Does it tell off-color
between
jokes
different
too?
voices? I didn't hear any like that, but it does tell some that are a little bit more, not mean, but a little bit more sarcastic. I think those work well with the British voice.
Yeah, there you go.
But one of my favorites was your image is now being uploaded to Adobe Creative Stock. You'll be paid in exposure. Like, those are some of the jokes that people
a little dry humor there. I mean, listen, whatever you need. I personally, when I edit, I like music. When I was in the darkroom, I always put on albums. Back then, you were playing records, LPs. So much so that there's several albums that I just have indelibly connected to being in the darkroom. And music plays a huge part of any creative activity. So jokes, okay, I get it. Well, it might be fun. I'm not sure if I'm going to install this or not, but
yeah, it's not going to be for everybody, but it's got some fun stuff. Like there was one that was, have you ever noticed that when you're working, you don't blink as much? It's just one of those jokes where then all you can think about is how much you're not blinking.
Yeah.
It's just something a little humorous.
Yeah, we like to end on a little bit of humor.
And it's a free thing. I put a link in if you want to try it out for yourself. Like I said, it was amusing, and the fun part is you can also submit your own jokes if you want, and then people can rate your jokes, and you can rate other people's jokes. So hey, you got to have a little bit of fun when the world's the way it is right now.
Please. That's so important. Let's do a little non-scripted news. I've got a few items here. So
okay, sure.
Yeah, first of all, Dan Milner, tomorrow we're going to cover what is the title again? 5 things that I wish I knew and 5 mistakes I would have
Yeah, 5 things that I wish I knew before I started and 5 mistakes I made that I wish I hadn't. That's the idea.
So, it's going to be really fun and revealing because it's kind of cool to be able to look back, and go, hey, this is what I would have done differently. I've got a million of those things. So Dan will be on tomorrow. I'm still waiting to hear from Bob. I'm not sure we had him scheduled for Friday, but the last text I have from him sounded like he was actually out in the field. So that may or may not happen. I'm going to be traveling next week. My wife and I, Jan and I, are going to be on a road trip for about 2 weeks. We're going to Montana, to Yellowstone to photograph and do. I'm going to do YouTube lives from the road. I'm going to do Instagram stories. And I'm hoping to bring my Hasselblad with me with that digital back. I'm still working on that. Another piece of news there. There was something else, Jared. What else do we have kind of coming? Oh, yes. Listen, I've been telling you guys, and I could give you maybe a preview of it. I'm going to start giving away my
Oh
book
yeah.
for free. You have to pay the postage. I mean, that's only fair. But I'll give you the book. And that's hopefully going to start either later this week or next week. And if you already have a copy of Advancing Your Photography, get one for your friends or have them get it. Okay? I'm really excited about this because I want the book out there. And of course, there's a lot of other stuff that goes along with it if you're interested, but that's kind of the coolest thing is I want to start giving away this book. I'm going to do that with all my books. You can get them for free. So cheaper than Amazon, even with the postage. We're definitely undercutting that. So that's another piece of news. I want to I'm going to just pull this up here real quickly. So this is a post I put on Instagram yesterday. If you guys aren't on my Instagram, will you go ahead and follow it? It's just easy to find, Marc Silber. This is a
I'll put a
photograph.
link to it.
Yeah, I took this photograph maybe 4 years ago when there was a fire in Yosemite. Now, we're in California. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of fires here. I showed also in my Instagram flying into our little airport, flying over the fire in Big Sur. It's this photograph right here. Devastating because it burned the condors, the California condors, which were practically extinct, have had a remarkable comeback. And unfortunately, this has burned up their habitat. Doesn't mean the birds are burned up. It certainly is, they have to relocate. But, I tell a little story about it. But this story, the deer was posing for me. I find I can get animals to pose for me. I don't know why that is, but I've had several deer. I've had bobcats, dogs, and I think there's
Zebras.
just zebras. Yep, I've had zebras pose for me. I think there's something about just kind of, being in touch with them, not trying to bombard them or scare them in some way, or you have to be quiet and you have to gently move into their space. But this deer was allowing me to enter her space and gave me a really beautiful portrait. But in today's world, we've got so many challenges going on right now. My prayers are for us to heal soon. I mean, we need to get through a healing stage, and I think as photographers we can help that by posting our images, telling stories. And something Chris Burkhardt advised in one of our shows is don't just put a little caption like, hey, I was in Yosemite, I took this cool picture of this deer. Try to tell something that's meaningful to you as well. Anyway, just a note there. I think that's all our news for now. We're going to definitely keep things flowing. If you run across news stories, please let us know, okay? Oh, I know. One last thing, Jared. Just bring up, if you don't mind, bring up that AYP Ambassador link, because I want you
Oh yeah,
guys to
sure.
know about that. So we have the AYP Ambassador program, which many of you guys have already probably become a part of. We're a small team here, and we need your help. we're creating a movement. It isn't just about, hey, here's the latest gear that you can buy, and I hope you can, take a photograph with that. That's something different there. Here,
Yeah,
do you want me
sorry,
to,
one
do you want me
second.
to grab that link? I got it
I,
right over.
yeah, why not, I don't have it handy.
Okay. But we
Technical
want,
difficulties.
yeah, technical dip, behind the scenes. We want you guys, to be, you're part of this community. You guys are definitely, showing up on all our shows. You're in the AYP club. So take that next step, which is, where is that link? I'm completely, there it is, about AYP Ambassador Program. It's right over here. So I love this quote: do more than belong, participate, do more than care, help, do more than believe, practice, do more than dream, work. And my vision, I stated in here, is for our AYP community, that we're an international community connected with each other with the common purpose of being creative and advancing our photography to the next level. Photography is a powerful means of communicating to others past and through all barriers of language, customs, gender, race, etc. With this powerful communication vehicle, we can change the world one image at a time. You've seen examples of that. It happens all the time, and we can all participate in that. So just a real brief kind of a summary of what's in here. I want you guys to feel like you're connected. You can connect through the AYP Club Facebook. And there's a number of ways that you can participate. Obviously, spreading the word about AYP. And what I mentioned in here, the best way to do that is to tell your own story. You can do that in your social media. You can tell your friends how it's benefited you, what you've learned. It's about stories. Tell your own story. If you like writing blog posts, you can certainly submit them to us. We'd be happy to have you as a guest blogger. You can help. I love doing podcast interviews. If you know of a podcast you think I should be on, either talking about photography or creativity, please let us know. If you're good at web stuff, SEO, that sort of thing, we can always use your help there. Research. Now, one of the things we could use your help researching is news. So if you come across interesting news items during the week between these shows, please just grab that link there, send them over to us. And critiques, of course, we want you guys to help other photographers critique. I did write a little document about how to critique, and it's in the link there as well. Rewards, we asked you guys what you want, and most of you said that you just want to feel the pride of being part of this community, which is awesome. I love it. But we're going to try to add some other things where we can hang out, do some hangouts. I want to, once we build this community a little bit more, I want to do what's called an all hands, which is kind of like, when you get everybody together, we have like a staff meeting. That'll be a little bit up the road once we kind of build this community out. But I'd love it if you guys grabbed whatever it is that you're passionate about and jump in there, okay? And I believe that's all the news for today. And listen, make sure you guys tune in with Dan tomorrow. Shall I give you my final sign-off message on this? Anything else we've got, Jared? Are we ready to?
I don't think that we have anything else. I think that's it.
Well, I haven't asked you guys to subscribe. If you haven't already done so, please do that. And, share is really important because we want these videos out there. Not just this video, but our other videos. Share your favorite videos with your friends. Leave your comments. I try to answer all your comments. And listen, where is that quote, Jared? If you don't like the news, remember to get out and make some of your own. That isn't quite what it says. What does it say? Read it.
If you don't like the news, go out and make some of your own.
By the way, you guys, I kind of turned that into our little slogan, which is remember to get out and capture your own images of life. So please do so. Stay well, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific. We will start on time. So take care. Love you guys.